And next set of questions come from Weapon Alex. Who from the WWE shakeup should have stayed in their brand? I can only think of two per brand. I would say Alexa Bliss and The Miz should have stayed on SmackDown due to their character works and having their characters really fit in that environment of being really competitive, but still, maintain some of the elements that make WWE a pretty interesting product, despite the fact that the booking's been shit the last few years. And although they did go to Raw and they did have some good matches here and there, I feel like that their feuds that they're in, I just went from like potentially interesting to completely stupid, if you know what I mean. And for Raw, I would say Charlotte and the New Day should have stayed on Raw instead of going to SmackDown, because with the whole New Day characters, they definitely needed to reinvent if they were going to go to SmackDown. And they really haven't been doing anything interesting. I mean, I heard the rap battle they did with the Usos was entertaining, mainly because of whoever was the judge of the contest. And they had a really good match with the Usos at Money in the Bank, but other than that, really, I just don't really care about the New Day. And Charlotte, I really felt she was wasted potential. She should have been SmackDown Women's Champion if she was going to go over to SmackDown. She hasn't really done anything. Yeah, she had a couple matches with Naomi and competed on a couple of pay-per-view matches, but really she hasn't done anything of note. And I felt that her character was a little better on Raw, despite the whole bullshit that they did with the Sasha feud. And what I mean by that was the consistent title changes that they did. So yeah, I really felt that that she and New Day should have stayed on Raw, and Miz and Alexa Bliss should have stayed on SmackDown. So yeah. And next question: if Reigns versus Lesnar happens at SummerSlam, what will be the main event for WrestleMania 34? Easy: John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Let's be honest. I mean, how many more matches? Well, not how many more matches, but what is there really left to pull off for Roman Reigns as a main event championship, or even just a major main event match for WrestleMania? I mean, he already faced Lesnar at WrestleMania once, and I don't even know if anybody's interested in seeing another one. Although if that happens, I would have no problem with it. But we're talking about if the rematch happens at SummerSlam. He beat Triple H at 32, and he beat Undertaker at 33. So really, Cena's the last one left. Let's be honest. I mean, if he faced Orton, there's really no credibility behind it. But with Cena, it's the best option. Plus, Cena really needs a major matchup to do at WrestleMania, since he hasn't competed in a major main event caliber match at WrestleMania since, I would say, arguably WrestleMania 31, actually. And if you're talking the main event, I think his last one was at WrestleMania 25 against The Rock in the rematch. So it would be beneficial for both men to compete against each other in the main event. Plus, I'm pretty sure a certain someone would be completely jizzing themselves to see that match. But either way, yeah, I think that's the best option to go for WrestleMania 34. And your final question is the Venom movie with Tom Hardy a good idea? Yes, in the sense if they're willing to make it an individual story while still leaving the door open for a potential franchise, because supposedly that Sony wants to make a Spider-Verse, as in like an extended universe of the Spider-Man universe, like with characters like Spider-Man, obviously. You have Carnage that's supposedly supposed to be in the Venom film. You also have Black Cat, Silver Sable, and I believe a couple of other characters that haven't really made appearances in any Spider-Man film in a long time. But I feel like that the problem with doing it is that if Marvel's not going to be attached to the film, then it's probably going to flop, because supposedly, from what I hear, the reason why Spider-Man Homecoming is recently been getting a lot of attention and a lot of praise to an extent was Marvel's involvement with it being in the cinematic universe. And I don't know if Sony can actually handle another Marvel-related product. I'm not sure. And with Venom, I'm not fully familiar with the character, but I did watch a couple of videos to get a full understanding, or somewhat of an understanding of the character. So Tom Hardy, I think, is a really good choice, an interesting choice. And yeah, for those wondering, the Venom movie is going to be mainly focusing on Eddie Brock and not on Flash Thompson, because I know that the symbiote that named itself Venom did have different hosts. I believe one point it was Flash Thompson and another was Eddie Brock. So they're focusing on Eddie Brock. And I don't know what they can do with them, but I know that for sure. Excuse me. I know for sure that Tom Hardy will be up to the task, I'm pretty sure. Although, will the quality of the film be based just on him? I don't think so, but hopefully Sony can learn from their mistakes from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they didn't need to have the whole film cluttered as shit just to build up a Sinister Six Spider-Man film, which was a stupid idea, because they needed to keep it a little bit more coherent. And, yeah, I don't know. Tom Hardy, I think, in terms of being a human, just a main human character, could definitely hold his own in this film, I'm pretty sure. And he has played roles where he can play really, really intense characters. I mean, he played freaking Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, which was one of the things that people absolutely loved about the film. And he did a great job in The Revenant playing the character of Fitzgerald, which I actually have on DVD. And yeah, that's a great movie, and that performance was excellent. It even earned him an Academy Award nomination, so it definitely shows you that he can present himself with intensity, but also like a pure human character. And I think the closest one that I've heard about him playing that type of character was probably in the movie Locke, which I haven't seen yet, but I definitely want to see it sometime in the future, mainly since it's just Tom Hardy himself in one car, in one phone. So yeah, really interesting. And thank you for your questions. And the last set of questions come from Lundrick. And the first one's going to definitely be a tongue twister, but what the fuck, might as well try. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know. Enough to, you know, break apart the forest? I don't know. I don't know what you were trying to go for, Lundrick. But anyway, how much could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know. A lot, I guess. Yeah, it depends, but I don't know. Your second question is, what would your dream feud? Would your dream feud? Would your dream feud be yourself against Shinsuke Nakamura, with the Prince of Strong Style wanting to beat the King of Strong Style? If I was in better shape and I've had professional training, then yeah. I mean, Jesus, I'm pretty much a stiff motherfucker in real life. I'll be honest. Although I've never gotten into fights, I'm pretty stiff to an extent, somehow. But but I'm pretty sure Nakamura would probably kick the shit out of me in the corner, just like he did to guys like Kota Ibushi and Kazushi Sakuraba and Yuji Nagata. So yeah, the Prince taking on the King, I don't know, depends. But that would definitely be a dream feud for me personally. Question 3: who do you think could be the breakout star in this year's G1 Climax? I think if you're talking just the breakout in terms of either in-ring or just an overall star, my two choices would actually be, from what I know, who the fuck was it? Juice Robinson or Zack Sabre Jr., and here's why. With Zack Sabre Jr., he proved himself pretty well in the G1 special over the weekend. He had a really good match with ironically enough, Juice Robinson, and had a great match with Tomohiro Ishii in the semifinal of the U.S. title tournament. And I really think if they give him, if they're able to allow him to deliver whatever matches that he can with guys like, I believe he's supposed to face Hiroshi Tanahashi on day 1 on July the 20th, next Monday, not this upcoming Monday, but next Monday. Then I think he could definitely succeed and really, you know, get a lot of mileage out of his singles run, because so far, I think the problem has been the fact that he has been with Suzuki Gun. Granted, he definitely adds something different to the group than just the main members. You know, you have Suzuki, which I was happy about, and Zack Sabre Jr., I'm glad he's in the group, because he differentiates himself from everybody else, like, Taiichi, Taka Michinoku, who I actually like, but fuck Taiichi. I fucking hate that he's teaming with Taka. And then you have El Desperado in there, and I believe a couple of other people. Oh yeah, Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr., although Archer's been injured the last few months. So Sabre is really pretty much the second guy you can go with in terms of breaking out in the group of Suzuki Gun, more than guys like Taka and Taiichi. And I think with the tournament, he definitely needs that opportunity to break out and really, you know, display what he's really got in him. And yeah, I really want to see that. And for Juice Robinson, he has already had a really good push so far, and he had a great match with Naito about a couple of months ago. So with the tournament, where he's able to compete for a few days straight and have some really incredible opponent, credible opponents like Kazuchika Okada. I don't remember what day it is, but I think that could definitely be a great match since Okada is a great worker. So, yeah. And hopefully he can break out a little more than Cody has, because while I like Cody and I think he's good, he hasn't really he hasn't been delivering in his New Japan run. I hate to say that. But, yeah, I really think that Robinson has a little bit more potential to break out as a major single star in New Japan. Not the main eventer, but at least semi-main eventer to an extent, or even like never openweight champion or something like that. And with this tournament, he definitely has an opportunity to face guys like Minoru Suzuki, I believe he's supposed to face, and Okada, Makabe, a lot of other guys in the tournament I think are really good that can carry him to great matches. And I think he can be like what Yoshihashi did last year, where not a lot of us expected much from him, but in the end he delivered some great matches. Like Hashi had a great match with Kenny Omega, and he had some really good matches with guys like Michael Elgin, and I believe he faced Yuji Nagata and a lot of other guys. He definitely has a lot of potential to really work well. And I'm talking about Robinson here, so yeah, I would say Robinson and Sabre Jr. are the best bets to go with. Your fourth question, I think this one's probably going to be my favorite of the bunch, but book a WWE versus New Japan War Games match. Now, one of the picks I have for Team WWE is going to be interesting. Now, I'm going to keep it 5 versus 5. So for New Japan, I'm going to put Okada, Omega, Ishii, Tanahashi, and the surprise of the bunch is probably going to be Kushida, because while Kushida is mainly defined as a junior heavyweight, I think this could be an opportunity for him to compete with the heavyweights. So it's definitely going to be interesting for him personally. So yeah, I think Kushida would definitely be a nice addition to that 5-man team. For Team WWE, interestingly, I'm going to have John Cena, Shinsuke Nakamura. I was going to put AJ Styles, but I decided to keep him out personally. What was my third one? Roman Reigns, which I know people's going to give me a lot of shit for that. But the fourth and fifth guys, I think you guys are going to be interested in this. The Revival. Yeah, the Revival. Dash and Dawson. I really think, since they're branded themselves as old school wrestlers, I think the War Games match is definitely the best platform for them to really prove themselves. And I think in the sense that they are also a tag team, it would give them a bit of an opportunity to compete with the Japanese guys, just to expand a little bit more on their in-ring abilities. So it'd be pretty interesting to put Dash and Dawson in there. And no, this is not also for if New Japan was to go over, that one of the two guys would have to submit, since it is submit or surrender. But either way, yeah, I think that would be my match. It would be Revival, Cena, Nakamura, and Reigns versus Okada, Omega, Ishii, Tanahashi, and Kushida. And for your final question, final question is, who do you think will end Okada's current IWGP Championship reign, and when do you think it will happen? Who? It's got to be Kenny Omega for the front runner, because I don't really think there's anybody else that's in contention to really go up against Okada. And not to downplay any of the other guys in New Japan, but I mean, Shibata's gone, well, not gone, but he's out due to injury. Ishii, I'm not even really sure if they would even have confidence in him being the champion for a while. So Kenny Omega is really the front runner. But if I have to give any honorable mentions, I would say Tetsuya Naito and Tomohiro Ishii, I guess. Yeah, those are the only ones I can really think of off the top of my head. And yeah, when it'll happen, I think it's going to happen by next year, no later than King of Pro Wrestling. And I think the earliest could be between Wrestle Kingdom to Dominion, but they're not going to do it either New Beginning or Wrestling Dontaku. Although Okada's second to last title reign, I believe it was, ended at Wrestling Dontaku when he dropped it to AJ Styles the first time around. So yeah, I really think it could be between Wrestle Kingdom to Dominion, but no later than King of Pro Wrestling, I think. So yeah, Thank you guys for your questions. I really enjoyed this week's answering your guys' questions for this week's edition. And as I said, I don't know if I'm going to split this up into 2 parts, 15 minutes each, or something like that along the lines. And for next week's edition, I want you to send in your guys' question for my mid-year edition. So basically, send in questions about wrestling between January 1st, 2017 until all the way to June the 30th, 2017. About anything. It can be about wrestling, it can be about movies, it can be about anything. Send them in, only up to a limit of 3 questions per person. If you want, you can go for 5, but no more than 5. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this week's edition, and are you really looking forward to next week's edition for next week's edition of my mid-year edition. And don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever I upload a new video. And until the next edition, guys, peace.